Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're talking about the upcoming Sephora sale. This is 20 and 30% off of their collection. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. Now, as you know, I have my online beauty consulting service, which is where you get the chance to talk to me one-on-one through Zoom. So whether you want advice to pick up new makeup collections, or maybe you already own a very extensive collection at home and you want a fresh set of eyes, that is the perfect reason to book a session. So go ahead and click the link down below to make your appointment. All right, Sephora sale. Now I will include the dates down below because there are certain dates for the different levels, you know, like VIB, VIB Rouge, etc. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that all down below for you. This is Canada and US that I'm aware of. I think Europe does their own thing. So if you would like, please feel free to shop my affiliate links for Canada and the US for the sale, because I do make a small commission from those sales and that does help me out tremendously here on my channel. That's one of the ways that I'm able to, you know, support this entire enterprise here. So if you would go ahead and use those affiliate links, I would really appreciate it. Now, first off the bat, there's construction outside, sorry. First thing we have to talk about is there is a 30% off category, but this is only for the Sephora collection, like the house brand, if you will. Now, there are two items right away, or the only two items that I can think of really from the Sephora collection to recommend to you, and these are actually makeup brushes. The first one is a 56. This is the Pro Flawless Airbrush Foundation Brush. It is dirty. I used it this morning. This is a foundation brush. I love this brush so much. I use it almost every day. This is like my number one foundation brush, to be honest. I have a couple other ones that I love, but this is my MVP foundation brush, and it'll be 30% off. Next up is the concealer brush. Now, if I could only keep one brush for the rest of time, it would be this one here. This is the 57 Pro concealer brush here. So this is similar. You can see that they are cousins. And this one here, it's just like, it's round, it's dense, it's just the right level of fluffiness and density. And so when you apply concealer, when you blend it, it just blends and disperses very quickly. You don't have to do much work. It's just really great. So these two tools, I apologize if you can hear that, it's so loud. But anyway, these two tools here will be 30% off. So that's my recommendation for the Sephora collection. Since this is a luxury beauty channel, and when I was gone for a few days last week, it was a medical thing. I don't really feel like going into it now. Maybe I will at a later time, but I was gone for a few days and I noticed we hit 15,000 subscribers here. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. What an honor. Thank you. Yeah, just thank you so much for that. So we are going to do luxury. So Sephora recommendations, but specifically luxury brands and luxury products from these brands. First up here is Armani Beauty, and this would be the Luminous Silk Foundation. Now, if you've heard of this foundation, if you've heard of its cult status among beauty bloggers and editors, it's for a reason. It's a beautiful, so natural, luminous, like semi-matte velvet foundation. It offers just the right amount of coverage without being cakey, without looking heavy. Sometimes like more medium coverage foundations look heavy and they don't look very nice. This one here is beautiful, so flawless, so seamless. It really just melts into the skin. What's great is that the shade range is really nice and inclusive, and also they have mini versions of their foundations. I don't think they have a mini version. Actually, they do. They have a mini version of every single foundation. So whatever your shade may be, I think I'm a 5.5 or 5.75, and you can actually buy like the full size 30 ml, or the mini, which I think is 15 ml. So it's 18 ml. So it's almost half the size. And so if you're not certain, if you love to travel and you want a foundation, getting a smaller one is perfect because it's easier to travel with. If you have an extensive collection already and you want to add without adding way too much to your collection, you know, this is perfect. It's a gorgeous foundation. I will always recommend that one to many people. And as a reference, I am 34. I have dry, dehydrated skin. And next up from Armani Beauty is their liquid eyeshadows. Now, these here, they should be more popular than they are because they are just so wonderful. They have shimmer finish, matte finish, metallic, and glitter. So there's like a range here, and the colors also vary. They have more light, neutral colors to like bold purples and greens, etc. My absolute favorite is called number 9 Cold Copper. It's just a really beautiful champagne color. And because it's a champagne color, it's really just like a one and done. I love this liquid eyeshadow. What's really nice too is the wand has this little hole in it. So when you're pulling out the product, there's never an excess amount. Like you never have to wipe it off. It's just the correct amount every single time. These are waterproof. They are crease resistant. Like they just stay in place all day. You do have to work with these, like blend these out quickly. Like just do one eye, blend it out, and then do the other eye, because whatever shape you swipe it on, it stays in place all day. But these are just really beautiful. If you want something really light, easy, one and done, like if you are a fan of like the Bobbi Brown or Laura Mercier eyeshadow sticks, you would really like these Armani liquid eyeshadows. These are perfect. So next up is Chanel. Now in Canada, we do not have Chanel at Sephora, not in person or online, but it appears as though Sephora US does carry Chanel, but only the fragrances. So this would be a perfect time to get a refill or a replenishment of one of your favorite perfumes. They seem to have the entire men's and women's collection, as well as some of the extras, like some aftershave, things like that for men. And they also have hair mists, hair perfumes for women. I love a hair mist. It's just very extra and decadent, and why not live like that? They also have a couple bath and body products, not for the entire perfume category, but mostly Mademoiselle. They have some shower gels, body lotions, things like that. So they also carry the Mademoiselle hair mist. I mean, can you think of anything more decadent than a perfume for your hair? I'll wait. So I don't have anything in particular to recommend to you other than your favorite perfume, whether it's Gabrielle, Mademoiselle, Chance, one of the items there, because blind buying a fragrance can be risky. So I don't always recommend it unless you live in a place that has an excellent return policy. But if you have something here that you like, I really personally like the twist options for the perfumes. Whether I have one for Mademoiselle, I have the Mademoiselle twist, but the twist comes in, I think, Mademoiselle Intense. A lot of the Chance perfumes have a twist, I think number 5. So whatever your perfume is from Chanel, now is the time to get a backup. Okay, moving on to Dior. Now the first item here is my concealer. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct. This is technically a concealer and corrector, so you could do a full face. I am wearing the shade 2WP. It has a little bit of a peachy cut to it, so it just hides any blue or dark circles. I love this concealer. You know, I'm a ride or die Cle de Peau concealer fan, but this one here I think is the second best. It has a lot of the auto setting that I appreciate. So you apply it, you blend it with the Sephora brush, and then it doesn't really crease, it doesn't really move, it just stays in place. It has a really nice coverage. You need to use significantly less than you think. Trust me, like so much less than you think. It's just a really nice coverage, and it's a very inclusive shade range. So regardless of what tone you need, you can find it with Dior. It's just a great concealer. It's supposed to be wearable for 24 hours. I've never worn it for 24 hours, spoiler, but it is just like, if you work like a normal 9 to 5, or even if you do like shift work and you work like 12 hours, I think it'll still work for you. And it is a bit more full coverage, so that's why I say use a lot less than you think. But these items here, everything except like this, the Sephora collection is 30%. Everything else, depending on your Sephora range, is going to be 20% off, and that's a pretty big, that's a good sale. I feel like 20%. Honestly, I think they should just increase everything to 30%. That's a great sale because everything is getting more expensive. So just like give us a better sale. Next up here are the Dior lip oils, lip glow oils. I love these so much. This is not the maximizer. This does not have any tingling sensation. There is no minty plumping. It's just a nourishing lip oil. And these all have a really great tint to them. So whatever the color, whether it's mahogany, which is like a gorgeous brownie, your lip but better, or a cherry or a rosewood, it will tint your lip. But it's just so nourishing. It feels more like a lip treatment. So if you have dry lips, or if you just do like a regular lipstick and then after lunch you want to touch up and sort of revive your lip, go in with a corresponding lip oil just to sort of zhuzh things up a bit and also nourish and moisturize your lips. It's fabulous. Now for Dior, I have a lot of recommendations, so hope you're sitting down. Next up would be the Bakstage Face and Body Powder No Powder. It is one of my favorite face powders. Like I said, like I have dry, dehydrated skin. I live in Montreal, so I'm not always like a powder girl. But this one here, it's sort of like a gel, water-infused powder. So if you have oily skin, it's probably not for you. But for me, it's just like so weightless and translucent with like a little hint of color because there is a shade range here. But it's very light, absolutely no dryness in sight, no cakiness. It doesn't settle into anything. It's just, I think this is a perfect powder for dry skin, mature skin, dehydrated skin. It's really great. Like I love the Bakstage collection in general. Now moving on to something very fun. It is my eyeshadow here. This is the Dior 5 Couleurs Couture eyeshadow palettes. They have several here. They have more on the Dior website, but they only have 6 to choose from here, but I'm wearing number 279 Denim. If you like blue eyeshadow, if you would like to get into blue eyeshadow, if you want to dip your toe in, this palette is like the blue eyeshadow lover's dream. It has everything. You get your turquoise, you get your aquas, you get your navies, you get like your hints of green. It has just like the whole color wheel of blue eyeshadow. And for me, I love more colorful eye looks in the warmer, hot summer months. Something about warm weather makes me think of like fun eyeshadow. So as we're slowly easing into spring, summer, this might be a good opportunity for you to pick this up as well with the 20% off. But I have several. I don't have every single one of these eyeshadow palettes, but I have most of them. Honestly, I haven't met one that I don't like. So if you see one that you prefer the color story of more than Denim, I'm like 99% sure you're going to love it because the quality is amazing. Like it's so blendable, so creamy, so opaque, very, very easy to use. Depending on the color story, more user-friendly. Like Denim is not like an everyday look for everyone. If you want something more classic, more easy to use, I would go with number 669 Soft Cashmere. It's the most perfect neutral palette. It's neutral, there's cool, there's warm, there's neutral shades. It's really just, it could be your one and done workhorse 9 to 5 work appropriate palette. It's just so beautiful. And again, it's the quality of these palettes. The shadows are so opaque. They're so easy to apply. Like whatever color you see in the palette transfers directly onto the eye. It's just wonderful. So I recommend all of these eyeshadow palettes here. Like I said, if you see a shadow or a color story you prefer, I recommend it. It's going to be great. There is one last item here that I would like to recommend from the brand, and this is new and I think limited edition for some unfortunate reason. But this is part of the Bakstage collection, and these are the Eye Reviver patches. These are wonderful. I tried these on in a video recently or a few weeks ago. And these are eye patches, but you have a little sample here of a serum. It's the super potent eye serum from the Couture Total line. Listen, it visibly brightens, smooths, plumps, just like awakens the entire under eye. So you take the serum, you apply it there, then you put on the patch, and everything that it claims it does. You leave it on for 10 minutes, you know, you finish your coffee, you read your email, and then you take them off, and it really makes a visible difference. I wish that they would come out with like a larger pack, because the pack only has 2 patches, so you can only use it twice, I guess, unless you wanted to try to reuse them. But they're wonderful. Even like a deep puffing, like if you wake up puffy and you just want like a cooling sensation, but it's not just a sensation, like it's the ingredients too that really work. These are wonderful, so I highly recommend those patches too. Moving on to Givenchy. Now here we also have several items. The first one here is actually the face powder that I'm using today. Like I mentioned, I'm not always a face powder girl, so powders that I love have to be non-drying and non-cakey, and Givenchy is that for me. This is the Prisme Libre loose powder. Again, this is one that has like a cult status, cult following for a reason. This is a loose powder, and inside you can see 4 different shades, and when you dump out the product, the 4 colors mixed together illuminate, brighten, and sort of like enliven the skin in the most natural, soft, luminous way. And it helps set the makeup, but it doesn't dry it out. It doesn't look like, I don't look dry or like the Crypt Keeper by any means. So it's just a really great powder. And you know, the price, it's 72 US, which is expensive, but honestly, there is so much product in here. Like, this is going to last me years, and I mean years. Like, it lasts so long. And again, this is a very inclusive range, so from like the palest to like the deepest skin tones, you're going to find something that you like here. Now, moving on to a foundation from Givenchy, we have the Prisme Libre Skin Caring Glow Foundation. So it's in the same family as the face powder that I mentioned, but this is a liquid foundation. This is a light to medium coverage foundation, and it offers, I think, a similar coverage to the Armani one, but this one here is a glow finish. So the glow finish came out last year, and this year they came out with a matte version. So depending on your skin needs, you have a glow or a matte. And there are skincare components to this foundation here. If you were to use only this every day, you should see like better improved skin results, but unfortunately I have a very extensive makeup collection, so I tend to rotate. But I do really like this foundation. It offers like a nice coverage without being too heavy, and it's a soft glow. Like, it's not like a greasy disco ball. It's not too luminous or too oily. It's just very natural with a little bit more coverage. And next up from Givenchy are these lipsticks. These, I love the formula. It's the Le Rouge Sheer Velvet Matte. It's the most incredible formula. Many of you have tried these lipsticks, so you can attest in the comments. It's a sheer velvet matte, soft, silky powder lipstick, but it's not drying. You can almost like feel like a featherweight finish on your lips. It's so lightweight. It feels almost like a chapstick more than anything else. And they have a different shade range, so you can go in for a more classic red, but they have the most beautiful nudie lips. There's one number, I think it's number 16. It's just the most beautiful, like nudie rosewood your lip, but better. And the formula is so comfortable, because sometimes a matte lipstick can be super drying and a little bit off-putting, but these are just so wonderful. They feel so incredibly sheer and lightweight. they're wonderful. Now let's move on to Guerlain. The first item from Guerlain is what I'm wearing today as a bronzer. Terracotta Light Healthy Glow Bronzer. So what's interesting with these bronzers is that it's a harmony of bronzer, blush, and highlighter. So you just take your brush and you swirl it around. I know at first you don't want to do it because you want to just like keep the pristine leopard print pattern, I know, but it keeps its shape. Like I've used mine for several weeks now and it's still holding up. Like this is what I'm wearing today, and as you can see, it is being used, but you know, it's still holding up. So I have number 3 here. And so you could use this on its own. Like you don't have to use a blush if you don't want to. I added a little bit of pink from the Dior Bakstage, the Rosy Glow, but it's gorgeous. Like it could be your face product. Like if you wanted like a really, really light summer look, concealer and bronzer. That's it. That's all you need. I think these are gorgeous. I love the shade range. You can have ones that are a bit lighter and darker, of course. You can have ones that are more cool toned or more warm. I like a peach, so that's how I ended up getting that one. But if you wanted to get something with more of a rosy blush, that is an option as well. It's just really great. And for me, I love it because it sort of just like kicks off the summer season, although it's not summer by any means, but it sort of just kicks off that summer mood. Moving on to their foundation. This is L'Essentiel High Perfection Natural Matte Longwear Foundation. This is the foundation that I'm wearing today. I'm wearing 35N. Now, oftentimes when anything says matte, I run for the hills because I don't want to look dry and dehydrated, but I think matte oftentimes for more luxury foundations just means like a soft velvet, because this is technically matte, but it doesn't look dry, it doesn't look cakey, it doesn't look, you know, like I've had the life sucked out of me. And I think that the matte version is longer wearing. There is more of a glow version, but I was told that the glow version just doesn't last as long. So the matte one has a bit more coverage and is a bit more long wearing, which is nice if you're taking masks off and on. So I think this is beautiful. I mean, as far as a matte foundation goes, I think it's gorgeous. It's just like a soft velvet more than a drying matte. So if you want something that's going to be like a nice light to medium, very long wearing with like a soft velvet finish, this matte version would also be really good for you. Of course, we cannot mention Guerlain without their lipsticks. So the Rouge April velvet lipsticks are, I think, probably the best velvet matte bullet lipsticks because they're matte and they're velvet, but they're not drying and they are the most long wearing. Like if you want a very long wearing bullet lipstick, get the velvet version of these lipsticks because they are just long wearing. They will just last for several, and I mean several hours. They don't even fade that much in the center of the lip. These are just gorgeous shades. So I would recommend these lipsticks to you, like any shade that you like. I mean, I am partial to a nice classic red, but even the more nudie colors are going to be long wearing. They have satin if you prefer satin, but I just really, really love the velvet version because it's just, I think, the most comfortable bullet matte lipstick. And of course, their lipstick cases. Their cases are gorgeous. I think my favorite ones that they've ever come out with are the ones from the fall collection last year, like the houndstooth, the tartan, the tweed, the chevron. To me, that is just absolute gorgeousness. I don't know what else to say. So you can go ahead and get yourself a little matching set here. I think it's phenomenal. All right, moving on to some Nars. Now, two things I must talk about are their primers. So I am a huge fan of eyeshadow primer. I cannot wear eyeshadow without primer because I have hooded eyes and I somehow have very oily eyelids, even though the rest of my face is dry. Explain that. And in my opinion, the Nars eyeshadow primer is the best eyeshadow primer on the market. I have tried different brands, different products, different price ranges. A lot of them are okay. Nars is the best one. That is the only one that I have repurchased several, and I mean several times over. That is one that I cannot live without. Like other ones that I have, they're okay. The Nars one is the best. So in my opinion, if you're going to bother wearing eyeshadow, you need to wear primer, because primer just helps everything last longer and just pop more. Like whatever color you have in the palette is going to show up on your eye. Like I don't understand the point of wearing eyeshadow without primer. So that is my spiel about that. Now, if you've watched my channel for some time, you will know that I'm not really a face primer girl. It's just not really my thing. I'm going to try to change that this year, just to like experiment and play with different primers. However, there was one primer that I have repurchased several times over, and that is the Nars Radiance primer. That is the only primer that I have repurchased, I think 3 or 4 times, which is a lot because I'm not a primer person. But if I am going to wear a primer, it's from Nars. Because I have more dry, dehydrated skin, I tend to lean towards radiance boosting primers. And the Nars one to me is gorgeous and I love it. Now they do have one for more oily skin types as well, more of a mattifying one. They also have one for smoothing, if you have a lot of texture, if you have scarring, things like that. So they have a variety, but for me, the Radiance primer is the one and only. Next up from Nars is this lip gloss here called Chelsea Girls, and it's a warm pink beige. It's what I'm wearing today. Let me just go ahead and do a little touch up here. It's just the perfect nudie beige pink. Like if you want just like a very easy neutral nude gloss, it's a really nice texture because the gloss isn't too runny. It doesn't run everywhere, but it's also not too gloopy. It's just a really perfect texture, and they have a nice shade range, but Chelsea Girl is my favorite because it just gives me this beautiful neutral nude pink, but without washing me out. Next up we have Tom Ford. This past year, I have drank the Tom Ford Kool-Aid. I get it. I love the eyeshadows. I am here for it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go ahead and just rattle off a bunch of different eyeshadows that I think you should get during the sale from Tom Ford. The first one here is part of this new cream shadow quad collection. The one that I got is Rose Topaz, but there are 3 quads to choose from. I just find that Rose Topaz is a beautiful, neutral, cool leaning palette, and it's a beautiful, buttery, creamy eyeshadow finish that's so opaque. Like whatever color you have in the palette, it just shows up right away. It's just like very, very opaque, and the color payoff is very intense. It's very easy to use. The colors are just, they're very user friendly. And the 3 quads that came out are more in the neutral, like some are warmer, but you know, I think they're very user-friendly and very work-appropriate. There's not one palette out of the new cream formula that's like not easy to use for like 9 to 5. So I love them. Now, part of like the regular eye color quad, these are more of a classic powder finish. It depends on the quad that you get. Some are all satin, some have like a mixture of matte, etc. My favorite here would be Nude Dip. It's all satin, so you don't get any mattes, but you get just like a combination of like a champagne pink, a champagne gold, a taupe, and a brown. So if you want your workhorse staple 9 to 5 eyeshadow that's work appropriate, that you know, isn't blue necessarily. I understand that not everyone wants to wear this type of eye look, but I think Nude Dip is just really beautiful, and it's a satin finish, so it's not like a chunky glitter. If you have more mature eyes, don't worry, it's not going to look like insane and like tacky on you by any means. And my other option would be Suspicion. This is the most beautiful, warm, J-Lo goddess eyeshadow look. If you think of just like the warmest, most J-Lo bronzed goddess eyeshadow look, it's Suspicion. This is what you want for summer months, for the heat, for warm days. This is the palette for you. Again, this one here is all satin. There's not a single matte here, but you get like coppers and warm coppers and deep chocolate browns and golds. It's, oof, this one here I think is not something that I can live without for summer months. I think Suspicion and the Denim palette are two palettes that I use the most in the summer. And now if you want something that's a little bit more work friendly, a little bit more demure, it would be Mink Mirage. This is a neutral smoky palette. It's definitely more neutral, more demure, more workplace friendly 9 to 5 type, and it looks gorgeous. I think it's a great palette. I really love it. And I think as far as Tom Ford goes, it's maybe just a question of personal taste. Like if there's one palette here that you have your eye on that I did not recommend, I'm certain you'll love it anyway. Okay, moving on to Westman Atelier. Now I do want to add a little asterisk here that this should be included in the Sephora sale, but sometimes with other retailers, Westman Atelier excludes themselves from sales, which is very rude. So just keep that in mind that they might exclude themselves for some very rude reasons. But in general, I really love this brand. It's just a brand that I have had lots of success with overall. So if there are any products in particular that you're looking for that I haven't mentioned, it's probably still fabulous. The first thing that I would recommend is their Vital Stick Foundation. It's a creamy stick foundation. So the entire ethos of this brand is just like you, but better, like a very like light, natural, no makeup look. And their foundation is lightweight but buildable. I would say it's like a light to a medium. And their foundation stick, you could use it as a concealer, you could spot correct. It's just a really lovely product. It sort of just melts into the skin. The shade range is nice as well. And I find that their shades are a bit like stretchy. Even if you don't have the exact shade match, it sort of melts into the skin because it is very lightweight. So that's beautiful. I love that. I also really, really love their blush sticks, their baby cheeks. They're just such a radiant blush. That's the best way I can describe it. It's called like baby fresh color. So if you just imagine like the healthiest looking cheek, and they have a little bit of glow, not like a chunky glitter, but it is a cream texture. So it adds a bit more glow, a bit more youth, a bit more hydration to the cheek. So if you want more of a cream liquid blush, I would recommend Westman Atelier. They're just a great brand. Now, last but not least, we have something here that is only available through Sephora Canada. I'm not certain how or why, but Canada was the first to get this. This is Cle de Peau Beauty. Yes, Cle de Peau. Now, I recommend so many things from this brand. It is an amazing brand, very luxury. Again, I certainly hope that they are part of this sale because 20% off is a big difference with Cle de Peau. But this is the first time that they will be participating in this sale. So I don't know, like I don't have any precedent to tell you whether or not they will be here, but they have makeup and they have a lot of skincare on the site. So if 20% off, knock on wood, fingers crossed, if it is part of the sale, now is your time to shine. So first up is the concealer. This is my ride or die, my absolute favorite concealer. It has been reformulated. I am doing wear tests. I was planning on doing a review before this video came out, but life happened. Spoiler, I like the new formula. So if you're looking for a refill or if you're looking to buy this concealer, now would be the time. They also have really great skincare in general. The serum is a game changer. It's almost like a pre-serum. It's your first step before you go into your treatments, like after you've cleansed your face completely. It really acts as like a prep or a primer for the rest of your skincare. It's a softener. It makes your skin baby soft and smooth. And it just helps prepare your skin to better absorb every other skincare ingredient you're about to use. So I love it. The refined lip luminizers, these are amazing. These are like a creamy, satiny, buttery lipstick. So if you don't like a matte, like not everyone likes a matte lipstick. Some people prefer a glossy, creamy, buttery lipstick. You would love the Refined Lip Luminizers because it is just like this oil-infused, very buttery, satiny lipstick. It won't be the most long-wearing lipstick, but it's going to be so comfortable. They tend to be a little bit more sheer. My favorite is number 4, Dahlia, which is a nice pink, but it tends to run on the slightly more sheer, radiant side. So even the most like intense, deep colors, they're going to sheer out a little bit. Think of like Chanel Rouge Coco Shine, that type of finish. So it's just a very nourishing, hydrating lip product. Now, the luminizing face enhancers, these are amazing. These are like a brick highlighter, and it's a highlighter. It's not like a face powder. This formula is like the most finely milled, beautiful, natural glow foundation. Like if you look at the brick here, it's like little mountains, little peaks of different colors. When you just swipe your brush through, you get the most natural, radiant finish. Like Cle de Peau is definitely a brand, when I think of it, a brand for like more mature women. So it makes sense that the highlighter is just very soft and finely milled. It's not going to settle into any fine lines or wrinkles. It's just going to look beautiful and luminous. Okay, so I guess that was very long-winded. I had a lot to say for the past few days regarding makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you will be picking up during the Sephora sale. My cart has been ready and waiting for weeks now. I will do a video when I actually shop the sale and get my haul, but my cart, I need to curate it because I just added like every single thing that I could possibly think of, and then I go ahead and like cut it down a little bit. But I think that this year, like, there's a lot of great products here, a lot of good luxury items to get during the sale. Sometimes it's just a question of like replenishment, like just getting like your old favorites, like a backup, or if you know it's like time to replace it, because makeup does not last forever. But anyway, leave a comment down below. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you have your notification bell set to on, because on Friday I have my beauty history episode. So beauty history is my series where I take a deep dive into the life and legacy of a fashion or a beauty icon in the makeup or fashion world that is still relevant to this day. So don't miss out on that. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.